I don't know if you've seen this story. It's been sort of milling about for a couple of weeks now, and this is the apparent millions of pounds. I think it was on one of the Sunday morning papers for the first time just over a week and a half ago. And this was Elon Musk saying that he wanted to donate £80 million to Reform. And we also saw the new Reform Treasurer, didn't we, Nick Candy, go and meet Elon Musk recently. Now, the elections watchdog is pushing for a change to the law that could prevent this donation. It's caused a lot of people to be, I don't know, I guess a bit put out by all of this. Well, let's find out what Lord Marland, former treasurer of the Conservative Party, Conservative peer, former advisor as well to the Mayor Boris Johnson. What do you think of this, Lord Marland? Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Great to see you. Well, there are rules and regulations about giving donations. Rule number one is you have to be a British citizen. I don't think Elon Musk is that at the moment. He may well be. Rule number two is that if you're giving it through a company, you have to get the agreement of the board of directors of a British company. So if he's got a British company and he gets the board of directors to agree to it, then he can give a donation. So I think this is a very exaggerated story. Well done, the Reform. They're trying to keep momentum going in terms of their popularity. And but the reality is, I think that Musk will be not able to give that amount of money unless he changes the status that I've alluded to. However, I think the more frightening thing for the other parties is whether Elon Musk decides to deploy X into fighting the campaign on behalf of Reform. I'd be surprised if he does, but if he does do it, then that will be a serious threat to the parties.
Well, I mean, I get the point about someone being a British citizen, and of course those are the rules. However, I think this story calls into question the validity of someone wanting to donate to a British political party if they have significant business interests here in the United Kingdom. And Elon Musk has invested a fortune via SpaceX into British engineering companies. Obviously, there are offices for X here in the United Kingdom. He has other UK investments. So, again, where is the line regarding someone having spent a lot of money in the UK, having significant business interests in the UK? Does that not give rise to the idea that some kind of influence on a political party should be allowed?
Well, of course, what you say is true, and that's why these rules have been put in place. You're also forgetting to mention Starlink, which I think will become a very big feature in British homes, where you can get the internet without having to dig roads up, as you know, particularly in rural Britain. So, he has business interests here. I think it's highly unlikely that he will get round to or be allowed to give that sort of money, as I said earlier. And after all, the election is a long way off. It's 4.5 years off. So much can happen between now and then, and we'll see.
Are the rules right, though? Are the rules maybe needing to be updated? If you've got Starlink, if you've got millions,
well, I mean,
billions...
the rules are right. The rules are right that you can't give money to a political party over here unless you are a British citizen, on the one hand, unless your registered British business has the agreement.
But why can't we change those rules, though? Why can't we actually look at perhaps...
Well, those rules are in force. Those rules are in force.
Yeah, they are. I understand that.
I don't really know how you tighten them up. Any self-respecting party, in truth, would not want to take 78 million from one donor, because, as you said in your intro, and your excellent intro, you know, it's a mixed blessing. A lot of people loathe Elon Musk and would do anything not to have him intruding into their lives or any political party that he's involved with. So it is a mixed blessing.
Yeah, but I suppose if you have reached a threshold of investment here in the United Kingdom, to what extent do you then does it then become perhaps a legitimate argument to say, well, look, maybe rules need to be changed, that you don't have to be a UK citizen, but if you have employed X number of people here, if you have a company called X, if you have, you know, spent millions and millions in the United Kingdom doing that, then do you need to be a citizen in order to be able to donate to a political party? It's not something I'd ever really thought about before, but I wonder if it is something that we should consider changing in the future.
Well, it all started when I think it all started because Azil Nadir, who you're too young to remember him,
Bless
but
you.
I think he gave the Conservative Party a lot of money, and then it was followed up by Bernie Ecclestone with giving money to the Labour Party, and I don't think either of them were domiciled in the UK. So that's why those rules came into place. And obviously, I don't mind providing they pass the test, the credibility test. Anybody really giving money, I mean, as Treasurer, I'd have loved it. It would have been a blessing to have received money from any source, and I'm sure the Conservative Party would love it now. But those are the rules, and I think they're pretty fair ones. And in fact, they are there to stop people like Elon Musk trying to buy an election campaign.
All right, I accept that. I mean, a lot of people might think it's a little bit of sour grapes because, like I said, the Conservatives or Labour or anyone else isn't getting £80 million, and they might quite like that. But
well, you never know. He may give it to the Conservatives at the next election. It's a long way off.
He might.
I mean, who's to say that Nigel won't have done a deal with the Conservatives?
Yeah, do you know what? I've got a feeling £80 million as well would probably attract Boris Johnson, person you formerly advised, right back into frontline politics. But, who can say? I just wonder, is it about, as well, the lesser of two evils? Because at the moment, this is all out in the open, right? And it would be this £80 million, right? Okay, someone's made a really good point on here, and I need to tread carefully because obviously, he's ultimately my boss here. But let's look at someone like Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch isn't a United Kingdom citizen, but arguably he's had a huge influence in British politics over the last 40 years. Michael makes this point, and I wonder if there is any worries in your mind that, okay, Elon Musk gets stopped, but then he will find perhaps another way of influencing.
As I said earlier, my worry, and the worry for a political party, should be how he utilises X as a tool for influencing votes. And you could argue that your boss, but I won't expect you to comment on it, has done that through the Sun, What Won It, and putting the Times and the various newspapers behind the political party that he hopes will win on that occasion.
But also there's an argument to say that he's
quite right. I think it'll be through media rather than financial donations where the influence will be brought to bear.
And I just, because I think that what Rupert Murdoch's great skill has always been is to take the temperature of what the British public are thinking, definitely during the Thatcher years, and getting it right every single time. And whether people like it or not, there is an appetite for reform at the moment. A lot of people, we've seen the latest polling last week, and I think that you raise a very, very fair point that maybe there'll be all this fuss about this £80 million, but 3 or 4 years down the line, if he uses X or any other platforms to influence things in a different way because he's not allowed to donate this £80 million, people like you and others might be sitting there thinking, gosh, actually, maybe that £80 million wouldn't have been so bad because then he'd have had his influence. Whereas now, X is essentially a platform for reform, which would have far more influence than £80 million quid.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. So let's see what happens. Anyway, it's 4.5 years off. Plenty betwixt cup and lip, and let's see where things go.
Good to talk to you.